What's going on, guys? Welcome to Ajax Reviews. Today we review Midnight Movie. Directed by Jack Messitt, a midnight showing of an early 1970s horror movie turns to chaos when the killer from the movie comes out of the film to attack those in the theater. Midnight Movie is another one of those movies that I bought a few years ago. I went through this big buying binge and I would go to Walmart and buy anything that was a horror movie. And this one actually had a really cool cover and I was like, this has some promise. So I watched it, and I remember when I watched it, I really enjoyed it. I don't remember a whole lot about it other than the mask. So going back and watching this again was kind of a treat, because I remember I liked it, but I don't remember what the hell I liked about it. So it was like watching a whole new movie again, but knowing that there was something in there that I really enjoyed. So I stayed up, and this is on one of the nights that I could have went to bed because I didn't have to watch a movie, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to watch a movie anyway. And I put this movie on, and I sat there, and I enjoyed the movie from beginning to end. It was really fun. So let's get on to the review.
Not bad. I'll take a large.
So I can count on one hand. This one will count on this hand. Of the amount of horror movies that I've seen that have won awards that were actually good. Midnight Movie is one of those movies. Now, it had been about 10 years since I'd seen this movie, and I remember enjoying it but couldn't remember what I enjoyed about it. And it was one of those movies that I've been debating on watching and reviewing for quite some time. This was actually on my list of one of the very first movies that I wanted to review, but I just kept putting it off because I don't remember anything about it. I'm glad I ended up watching this movie again because it had a decent story, good effects, decent characters, and some creative kills that actually had me enjoying the movie. You know, it's not often that a movie comes along that has a decent killer, a cool mask, an original weapon, and some creative fucking kills. It's rare. There's actually a kill in this movie that stands out. It's kind of cliche, but it's funny. Where the killer is up in the viewing room, or the room where they have the fucking projection room. And he's going after the group of kids. Half of them run away, and then there's the cop, and then this girl. Her boyfriend leaves, and the cop's kind of guarding her. The killer approaches, and the cop looks at the killer and says, if you want her, you gotta go through me.
You gotta go through me first.
So, I mean, just by me saying that, you know what the fuck is gonna happen. Cliche, right? But the way it was done. The killer had this weapon that was kind of like a screw or a drill that he had made himself, and throughout the movie you actually see him sharpening it, and he has it on his hand, and he punches through the cop, turns his fist and goes out his back, and then pulls the cop up his arm, and then goes and kills the girl behind him with the weapon, as you would expect because of a line like that. But just the way it was done was really fucking cool. Like, while I was watching, I'm just like, yeah, dude. Like, one of these times I'm going to record me actually watching the movies. Maybe I'll do that when I start a Patreon and you guys can actually see me watching the movie and reacting to it. But that kill right there, just, it stands out. It was just fucking awesome to me. But a movie like this isn't without its flaws. For instance, the last 10 minutes of this movie just didn't live up to what had happened prior in the movie. It got, I guess, boring, you could say. The first part of the movie was really exciting. It was really fun, really creative. I was cheering for the killer the whole time. But the last 10 minutes, I kind of was like, I guess I can get up and get a soda. I mean, it was that bad. It's during this last 10 minutes that the killer talks and then gets disposed of rather abruptly. It's kind of surprising just how easy it was to kill this guy. I mean, they had a pretty creative story up to that point. Maybe they just tried to do too much. I mean, the first part of this movie made it seem like this movie could be a franchise. But the last 10 minutes of the movie, I think, pretty much hindered that from ever happening. Now it's time to talk about some of the things that I liked. The concept. The concept was actually pretty cool. I mean, was it original? Has it ever been done before? I mean, similar shit, yeah. But the fact of a killer coming out of a movie after like doing some weird voodoo crazy shit while he was in a mental institution and disappearing and becoming part of the movie, and then anytime the movie shows he comes out, was kind of creative. Another thing I liked was the killer's weapon. Man, it was small, but it was cool. Because he holds onto this like drill screw thing with a handle, kind of like a hook hand, you know, how a hay hook. It's kind of like that, but the end of it is a drill, so he can punch things and then spin his fist and then pull out, and it pulls shit. Dude, it's really cool. Another thing that I really liked was the mask. The mask was really cool. It was like a part of a skull, and then it had some leather pieces and some other shit. Wasn't really a big fan of like the overalls that he wore, you know, the rest of the clothes, but the mask part was really cool. Another thing I liked, obviously, as I said before, was the kill where he kills the cop and then goes into the girl. That kill was just really cool, man. It sounds cliche, but the way they did it and the way it was executed was actually really cool. And the last thing I really liked was all the effects, the practical effects, the blood, the gore, and all the kills. Like, all the kills were cool. I don't think there was really a bad one. There might have been one or two, but nothing that really stands out. So for the most part, I really enjoyed all the kills, the effects, and the gore. Now it's time to talk about some of the things that I didn't like. Man, just how clueless these fucking characters were. These kids in this movie, in this theater, were so clueless. You're watching a movie, and then on the screen it cuts from the movie to what's happening inside the movie theater, where the guy who just sold you your fucking popcorn is down in the basement changing the soda, and he's getting killed. And two of the fucking people worked in the goddamn theater. And they're just like, huh, that's cool. Didn't even think that that's the guy until like another person that was watching the movie goes to the bathroom, and then they see him on the screen. They're like, hey man, it's dude. Oh. Like, fucking clueless, man. Like, if I would have saw some shit like that, I'd be like, all right, there's some weird shit going on, dude, because that guy just sold me popcorn. Like, something's fucked up here. Another thing I really didn't like is the CGI effects that were done weren't needed. They did this electricity bit where the killer got electrocuted, and it just looks so fucking cheesy. They didn't need it. Another thing, as I mentioned before, the killer talked. That ruined any mystique, that ruined any mystery that surrounded him. He talked. And the thing is he sounded like this. This is me, the killer. Like, oh my god, dude, you screwed the pooch on that one, man. Mute it when it gets to that point, so it doesn't fuck it up for you. And then the last thing that I didn't like, obviously, was the end sequence. It just did not live up to the rest of the movie. It got boring, it got stale, it got cliche, it got fucking stupid. I mean, that's all I can say. Everything up until the last 10 minutes was really good. The last 10 minutes went from really good to really bad. And I was really let down. It's a disappointment that it took that bad of a turn. So, would I recommend this movie? Yes, absolutely yes. I mean, you've heard me talk about how bad the last 10 minutes of this movie is, but don't let that sway you, because there's some fun shit that happens from the beginning of this movie all the way up to that point. The kills, the characters kind of sucked, but watching them die was fun. The killer, his weapon, just the gore. There was some fun, cool shit that was going on in this movie up until the point where it got bad. So don't let that ruin it for you. I mean, yeah, I know that you want to see a good beginning, good middle, and good ending, but really the journey is not going from point A to point B. It's the journey in between. It's the experience in between, I should say. So enjoy the good parts of this movie for what they were, and just kind of accept the ending. But because of the ending, I am going to give this movie a 3 out of 5. And that's going to do it for me for today, guys. So until next time, stay smart, stay clean, keep the dream. Don't let the man get you down, because if he does, he may drag you into a 1970s horror movie and then just leave you there because he ran out of ideas. Seriously, they no ideas.